Oh, yes, yes. Thank you so much.
You don't need the PowerPoint this time, right?
Is it on? Or should I speak louder? Good? Okay. Oh, yes, now I can hear. Oh, praise the Lord. Okay. So, let's go ahead and pray, and I'll just jump right into this, okay? Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for your Holy Spirit. Can't thank you enough for the gift of your Spirit, and I just pray and ask that He would accompany me as I demonstrate these natural remedies that you have so lovingly and graciously taught me, that have worked for myself in my own experience and for others. And I just pray and ask that you will please be with us and give us efficiency, give me efficiency, and help me to remember everything. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so God's methods of healing, natural remedies demonstration. Now, I want to just preface this and just kind of explain that it is not a sin to go to the doctor, okay? I'm going to say that again. It's not a sin to go to the doctor, okay? And again, whenever presenting health principles or natural remedies or things of that nature, we always have to be balanced. Even in our own decision-making for our own selves, in our own experience, we have to be balanced as well. So I would always encourage, to just pray and ask the Lord to lead and guide and, see what works, see what doesn't work. Because I would hate for anybody to experience what my friend experienced, as I mentioned in the other presentation. So I wanted to demonstrate a lot more things up here, but I just didn't have the time to bring everything. So I do have pictures. And instead of, information being on the slide, I'm just going to read it to you, okay? So for the onion, that's what we'll start with. And so the onion is a drawer, okay? So the onion is a drawer. So it draws things, okay? Absorbs odors and toxins out of the air. And also, just a side note, never eat an onion that has been left out uncovered, because it has probably absorbed things from the air that you might not want to eat or want to consume. So that's just a side note. I always tell people that, and even cooking with food on larger scales, or being like kitchen directors or managers or something like that, and you got to prep a lot of onions or something like that. You just want to just quickly, put it in a container and cover the container so it's not absorbing stuff, so that the onion flavor could still be potent and the properties are still there, okay? And not neutralized by the odors and toxins that it absorbs. And also, and it also, so I have been told, and I also heard from others that the onion, when you cut it up and put it on a plate, I heard this from a medical missionary, I guess. You put it on a plate and put it in a newly painted room. Several hours later, the room will, like the onion would have drawn in those paint smells, and the room would just be, regular, which is pretty powerful. And it also absorbs like bad food smells in the fridge. So like if you have a bad food smell in your fridge or something like that, I'm sure we've all experienced that. Cut up an onion. Well, first find out where the smell is coming from first, and then if there's still like a lingering smell or something like that, just cut up the onion, put it in the fridge, take it out the next day, and the smell in there should be gone, because the onion again is a powerful drawer. It absorbs things. Now there's two ways to apply an onion in a natural remedy. The first is a cooked onion. Okay, so cooked onion, you can bake it, you could steam it, you can I was going to say boil, but that might not work. So but baking and steaming for sure works. So for the cooked onion, you want to also, so it can be used for two things, the cooked onion, for like ear infections, for example, and like head colds, okay? Also, if you have like an earache or something like that, it could be used for that too, an onion, cooked onion. Now for an earache, and I have my notes here just so I don't forget anything, okay? But so that's why I'm looking down. So the onion juice, when you bake the onion or you steam the onion, it's going to be hot to the touch, so grab it with a cloth or something like that so you don't burn your hand. But you want to squeeze the onion, leave the roots on it when you do this, so that it just keeps the onion together. But you want to squeeze the warm cooked onion, and there will be juice that comes out of it. That juice is the medicine of the onion. It has antibacterial properties, antiviral properties. It has a lot of stuff in it that helps to heal your body, okay? And specifically, we're talking about ear infections and earaches. And this has worked in my own experience, my husband's experience. Our son, by God's grace, has never experienced an ear infection or anything like that. Hopefully not at all. But in the event that he ever does get one, I would do this for him too. But it works. This really works. So you want the onion juice or warm onion, wrapped in a cloth, and you want to place the juice in your ear. I know that probably sounds weird, and it does feel kind of funny, but you want to put that juice in directly into your ear, okay? And the warmth will not only help relieve your ear, the pain that you might be experiencing, but also your eardrum, because the onion juice is so potent, your eardrum will actually end up opening a little bit, and the onion juice will be drawn into your ear, and then the body knows what to do with it from there, okay? So if you create, or if you stick something in your ear and you create a hole in your eardrum, that's not that good, right? But if your body is doing it on its own because it's trying to receive something that it needs, that's okay, obviously. And then it will just, it'll close back up. And what happens is the onion juice will get into your ear, and it'll, your body will do what it needs. And sometimes your ear will leak. Now, obviously, if you put a lot of onion juice in your ear, it's probably the onion juice coming out. But if you put, a good amount, you'll know what a good amount is. But if you put a good amount of it and you just leave it on, and obviously if it's in your ear, you want to just lay down, for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, read on your phone or do something in that time or whatever, and just let your body do what it needs to do with the onion. And then when you sit up, if the ear infection is pretty bad, you'll start seeing pus coming out because your ear drum has opened and whatever was in there is coming out now, which is what you want. You want it to come out. So that's that. So also relief comes, so let's say relief comes when you do that remedy and then the pain comes back, like, I don't know, whenever later. So what you do, you just keep doing it. You just keep on doing it until, all the symptoms of the ear infection are gone. And I wanted to, that quotation actually is at the end. So so you want to just keep on doing it. So if you don't experience immediate relief, don't lose hope. We're in a very microwave cultured society. We think that it's like, it takes, if you've had an ailment for 3 years, it might take, 3 months for it to, go away if you, do the natural remedies, or if you had something 3 months, it might take 3 weeks, or if you had something 3 weeks, it might take 3 days. So it just depends. You have to just kind of give your body time and just, assist nature. Work with her, work with your body, get to know yourself, your body. Now, you can also use a cooked onion for boils, okay? Before I go there, let me just show this quotation right here, because I think it's really important. Where is it? Yeah, right here. So it says the use of natural remedies requires an amount of care, this is on Councils on Health, requires an amount of care and effort that many are not willing to give. Nature's process of healing and upbuilding, restoring, is gradual, okay? And to the impatient, it seems slow. The surrender of hurtful indulgences requires sacrifice, but in the end, it will be found that nature untrammeled does her work wisely and well. Those who persevere in obedience to her laws will reap, that's a promise, will reap the reward in health of body and health of mind. So again, back to the onion, the cooked onion. Another thing that you can use a cooked onion for is like boils. If you have like a boil like under your arm or in your nose, or like just a boil that's like really painful, and it's like very discomforting, you can place a steamed onion on the infected site. Okay, so keep the onion, intact. Don't chop it up or anything. The reason why I'm saying that is because, I'll be demonstrating a chopped up onion, but keep it intact like this. And what you want to do is just allow nature to do her work. Okay, so you cook this, either steam it or bake it, and you put it on the infected site. If you have a boil on your nose or in your nose or something like that, or under your arm, obviously that would be an awkward position to keep your arm like this, but maybe just lay down, or where your arm could be up or something like that. But if you have like a painful boil, I know my mom, she used to get those sometimes. But yeah, an onion, obviously I didn't know about these remedies back then. But yeah, so the onion, so just put it on the infected site and allow nature to do her work. The boil will end up bursting, okay? Because the body will take in from the onion what it needs, and it'll, heal whatever's happening, and it'll also open up the pores of the skin, and then the pus and the boil stuff, whatever's there, will come out, okay? And it will, if it's a really big boil, maybe to have some paper towels or something nearby, because nature will do her work wisely and well. Okay. And then after the boil's gone, obviously you'll have some relief. Now, a raw onion, the second application, the cooked onion and then the raw onion. So the raw onion actually stimulates the respiratory organs, respiratory organs to clear, and also it causes mucus to thin. So obviously when you cut an onion, if you've ever experienced crying when you cut an onion, that is a prime example of what I just said. And I know I'll probably be crying up here right now when I cut this onion, which is, that's what happens. And and it's also used mainly as a remedy for like respiratory discomforts, a raw onion, okay, raw onion. So I will demonstrate how to cut this onion. I meant to bring some gloves. The reason why I'm not cutting it at the root, that'll make your eyes burn more, for one. But also I just want to keep the onion intact because I'm going to use some more of this. So for this first remedy, and again, remember, look at this juice coming out of it already. This is a good one. So you can use the raw onion. The reason why I have it like this is because I don't want it to absorb anything, but that's just habit. But anyway, I thought to mention that. But yeah, so you can use it for like head and chest colds. Okay, this raw onion, head and chest colds. You can also use it as a cough syrup. Okay, and so I will demonstrate how to make a cough syrup out of this. Okay, and no, I won't be blending the onion. I have no blender. So I'll show you. So for a head and chest cold, or if you have a cold or a flu or anything like that in general, what you can do is what I'm about to show you. So let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. Okay, so actually I'll just demonstrate okay. So you want to just cut the onion like that. This also helps it not to be rolling around when you just face it flat, Take the skin off. Sometimes that outer layer is kind of shiny and not the best. Let me move this here. Now I'm watching my time. I'm going to try to end by 4:30. I know we started a little late, maybe 45 at the latest. Yes, that would be such a blessing. Those blue ones would be. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, this is something that I wanted to bring, but I forgot. These are a little big. Hopefully they won't get in the way. So yeah, you want to just roughly chop this up, okay, into just, squares, little chopped up like this, okay? So just like that. And what you want to do with this now is, for like a head and chest cold, you're going to actually place this on your feet, okay? The biggest pores on our body are on the bottom of our feet. And so, whoa, I'm trying to break up the layers here. So now, obviously, if an onion piece fell on the floor, do not put it back in the other stuff that you're going to be using for your feet. So how you're going to do that is, if you have like one of those Walmart shopping bags, you can, let's pretend this is a Walmart shopping bag, right? And so you place these onions into the Walmart shopping bag right in the middle, just like that. I'll show you 2 ways how to do this. So you place the onions in the shopping bag like that, and then if you pretend that this is my foot, and I would do this on both feet. Sorry, my eyes. It's doing what it does, stimulating those glands in there. Okay, so You want to just place your foot directly on the onion, just like that. And then you wrap the bag around your foot, as best as possible. And then you stick your foot with the bag in a sock. Okay, so you'll want a high sock, not the little booty socks, because that probably won't hold very well. So you want higher socks to make sure you're really getting it, sticking it or making it stick. So you want to do that for overnight, so when you're sleeping, okay, because that's the most convenient for us to have something like this on the bottom of our feet, is when we're sleeping, okay? So that's that. So you can do that and then take it off in the morning. And what will happen is it will open up the pores, just like it would in your ear. It will open up the pores in your foot, the biggest pores on our body, and the body will take from the onion what it needs. And if you're experiencing something in your chest or in your head or even fever, this works so well with fevers, okay? Like so well. Your body will take what it needs from the onion, and it'll do what it does. It'll start to heal. The onion properties will start to heal as they absorb into your skin and into your body. And quick testimony, my son got sick once. I do this with myself if I were to ever get sick, and also with my husband and our son. He got sick, and one time, and I used this remedy, and I could tell he was like getting weak, like his energy was kind of like, he was just like not how you guys are seeing him today. Like he's just totally opposite. But I did this, and literally the next day, I was noticing him for a day, maybe a day and a half, and I was just like, something's not right. So I did this. The next day, sprung right back into action. And his body's so little, so like the onion, it doesn't have very far to go. The taller we are, maybe use more onions. But I don't know if that's true or not either, but anyway. But yeah, the next day he was perfectly fine. And, it was just amazing. I was like, wow, this is like perfect. And so what I did, so you can chop it up like this, or you can do this depending on how big the foot is. You can make, okay, that definitely was not. So you want to cut a disc, okay? You also want to cut a disc. Now you can do the chopped for a baby also. You can do chopped for a baby, but you want to, you can also do this. So you can keep it like this, maybe, I don't know, half an inch thick or so, or something like that. And you can put this into the plastic bag, right? And then put your foot directly on the plastic bag. Wrap the plastic bag around your foot again and put a sock in it, or a sock on it. And leave that on your foot overnight, and your body will draw from the onion what it needs, and it will heal your symptoms of cold or flu or whatever, like if you have respiratory stuff like stuffy nose or something like that, and or just like chest congestion or anything like that, chest colds, whatever symptoms are associated with colds and flus. This works wonders, and it works. It really works. I've tried it with my family, with my son, because obviously if you like I said, it's not a sin to go to the doctor, but if you don't have to go, we should try to do these things. They're inexpensive. An onion is less than $1 each, and there's so much that you can do with it. Now, if I took my son to the doctor, they probably would have put him on, different medications and stuff like that, but he's so young and his stomach is so tender, and I don't know, I just struggle with I don't want to do that to him, and it's not to say if you have done that with your kids or with your babies or grandkids or whatever, that like you're wrong for that. Again, it's about education, and if you don't know, like, God winks at our ignorance, but that's why these things happen. That's why churches put on these health events, so that we can be educated, so that we can, from here forward, we can, make better decisions. And even if we fall or forget, we have a merciful Savior. But this is just something that I like to do, because I just don't want to give my son like those harsh like things, But yeah, so this is that. For that, and also now a cough syrup. Now, for the cough syrup, probably put this here. Now with the cough syrup, I'm going to cut these roots off here so I can use, and I won't use as much onion as I would if I'm really, really making this for someone or for myself, just for the purposes of the demonstration and for time's sake. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking that layer, that outer layer off of the onion, chopping it again, roughly, not perfect at all, into like little squares. And what you want to do with this now, so it's very similar to, if you're putting it on your foot. But now what you want to do with this is, I like to break up the layers just a little bit of the onion, just so there's a little more of it. Now this is not a glass bottle, but I would use a mason jar. I forgot to bring mine, but I would use a glass mason jar for this. So what you want to do to create this cough syrup is put a layer of this onion, maybe about 1/2 inch thick, so not much, not much. I don't know if you could see that, but so you want to do that, and then maybe a teaspoon or two, depending on how wide the bottom of your mason jar is, of honey. And I have raw, unfiltered honey here, so about a teaspoon or two of that. And you just kind of want to do it like lasagna style, so just keep layering it in there, okay? So after you do that, put another layer of onion, another teaspoon or two of honey, like so, layer of onion, and lastly, teaspoon or two of honey. Okay? Oh, I don't have another pair of these. Okay. And so that, like right now, it just looks like, like sticky and stuff, but as the presentation keeps going, the onion juice, there's something about the honey and the onion together that the onion juice gets drawn out of the onion and it mixes with the honey. And what happens now is you have this potent onion juice mixed with the raw unfiltered honey, and it's a powerful, syrup to help. The honey helps to soothe if you have a sore throat, if you have, if this is a symptom that you have while you're sick. The honey helps to soothe, and the antibacterial and antiviral properties in the onion juice will help to basically heal whatever else is going on, if you have inflammation or if you have if you're sick, that cold throat or sore throat type of deal. You can also add ginger into this. You can chop up some ginger. You can chop up some garlic. Ginger, anti-inflammatory. Garlic is like nature's antibiotic. So and make it more potent, with that. And as it sits, it will create a juice. And that juice, the dosage for the juice, for young babies, I've tried this on my son. I'll share a quick testimony after I share the dosage. For young babies, like, my son, or, crawling babies even, is about 1 to 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, teaspoons, and you want to do that 3 times a day until the symptoms go away, okay? And again, we have to be patient with nature's effort to free itself from the conditions of a violation of the laws of health, right? And now, in a baby, obviously they probably aren't violating, it's just we don't know, like, we don't know where we've gone wrong, but they just, they have to kind of suffer the consequences, which there's a spiritual object lesson in that. But that's why, we just pray for wisdom and, seek these things out and study these things out for ourselves. So that's for young babies, 1 to 2 tablespoons about 3 times a day until the symptoms subside or just completely go away, You just keep making the same thing. And I'm going to, you want to cover this right away. I haven't because I'm not actually going to be using it. But you want to cover this right away. Now, if this was a mason jar, I would have a lid. And I do canning and stuff like that, so I have plenty of lids, plenty of jars. But yeah, so that's that. So you want to do that. So for adults now, for this, you want to do about 2 to 3 tablespoons. And you have to practice temperance because it is quite tasty. So you don't want to just drink the whole thing because you need some, for later on. You don't want to take too much honey at one time. But you want to do 2 to 3 tablespoons, okay? 3 times a day, okay? Until your symptoms go away. And again, if you have to cut up more onion, put more honey and things like that, then do that. 2 quick testimonies. My son, he was in the middle of the night, just coughing, and like he wouldn't stop. This was obviously when he, at another point when he was sick. And he was coughing, and it was just like, man, like, Lord, like, please be with him, like, give him rest, But he just kept coughing, and I was just like, you know what, let me get up. So I got up, and I made this several hours earlier because I had planned to give it to him like in the morning. But that night he was experiencing like persistent coughing. And so I woke him up and I, spent some time with him and stuff like that. And I set him on the table and I was giving him some honey. And he wanted more and more of the cough syrup. But of course, so I didn't give him more than what he needed, but then in the morning, again, I gave it to him. But after that first dosage, I gave him maybe 3 tablespoons. So that is like 3 teaspoons. So that is like a whole tablespoon. But it's because his cough was like really like dry and like, it was just like, oh, it broke my heart. So I gave him 3 tablespoons. I don't know why I keep saying tablespoons. I gave him 3 teaspoons, and immediately he stopped coughing. And when I laid him back down, he did not cough the rest of the night at all. And I was just so amazed. I was like, wow, this is powerful. Now, I worked at an academy before where I am now, and there was several students had gotten sick during like the beginning part of January one year. And I was the cafeteria director. And so as they're coming through line and they're coughing and stuff, my heart is just going out. And I was just like, man, like, I wonder if I could just cut up one of these onions, and just give it to them. And so that's what I did. And I went to the girls' dorm and I gave it to them. And they came back running to me, both of them. And they're like, Miss Morgan, it worked. Like, I'm not coughing and, my throat is not sore anymore. And I was like, well, praise God. Here's another thing. I always pray before I do these things. So like with my son that night, I prayed with him before I did these things. So there's really God has put, healing properties in these things, but the power of healing really comes from God himself, accompanying his remedies, so, or his, his ways, his methods. So I always pray, and I encourage you guys also to pray before you do these remedies, So yeah, anyway, so those girls were just overjoyed about that. And then when other people were getting sick, because obviously people, students, they talked, and when other people would get sick, they would come to me I'm in the middle of whatever, and he'd be like, hey, Miss Morgan, can you make that cough syrup that you made for so-and-so, so that I having this and I'm having that? And so I was like, yeah, sure. So I made it, but you have to wait preferably about 24 hours before you give this. Now, with my son, like I said, it was several hours before I made it, maybe in the morning, and then that night, because I had planned to give it to him the next day. But that night he was just, he needed it. So I just gave it to him that night. So it's, it's not like, oh, don't use it before 24 hours, Yes. I don't know. I've never tried that. I've never tried it. The only reason why I wouldn't suggest that is because it would be very, very thick. It would probably be too thick for it to be like a syrup. So the onion juice is very thin, but it's very potent. So like as it mixes with the honey, it's kind of, and it'd probably be a little less palatable like that too. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure. I've never tried that. But as you can see, just a little bit, it's starting to kind of form a little bit, the syrup. So as it sits, the longer it sits, the better. Now, it's about to be 4:30 in 4 minutes. So, and I have several other things to show. Okay, so I will breeze through some things. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I mentioned all of that already. That's right. Okay, so the next thing is castor oil. And I'm going to breeze through this. I didn't bring it. I forgot to. So we'll just breeze through this. And I'm sorry I don't have these notes on the slide. So castor oil, this is actually the exact brand that I have at home. It's Home Health castor oil, cold pressed and cold processed. It says right on the bottle. So castor oil breaks up lumps and bumps, okay? And castor oil also penetrates deeper than any other oil. So it penetrates into your skin deeper than any other oil. And I have known medical missionaries to have used castor oil in their sanitariums, and it breaks up cysts, it breaks up fibroids, it breaks up bone spurs. Now, obviously, however long you've had the bone spur, will determine how long it takes for it, the castor oil to break up. But it works. I've been told, not that I've ever experienced that myself, but through experience from others, sharing as a medical missionary in a sanitarium where people come to them for healing, when the doctors are like, okay, well, we don't, all the stuff I tried and prescribed, it's not working, this and that. They go to these lifestyle centers, and then these are the testimonies that come out from these things. So yeah, it also breaks up congestion in the chest. And how you use the castor oil so that it can do all of these things is basically you make a compress, okay? So there's compresses and then there's poultices that you can make. Poultices usually have to do with like vegetable and herb matter, and compresses have to do with oils, okay? So a castor oil compress, what you want to do, so you want to, let me take this off now. Grab some plastic wrap. Now this will, how big the plastic wrap is will be determined by how large the site is that you're putting it on. But basically this plastic wrap will serve as, I don't know, a placeholder, I guess, if you want to call it that. So let's say I have, you can use it. You can use it for what am I trying to say? That like cysts and so let's just say I have fibroids or cysts, right? Like down in this area, like for females, right? So let's say. So you want to do, you try to get it as even as possible and flat. Okay, you don't want it to be too much. So there's that. and you want to fold a napkin up so that it fits in the plastic like that, and you want about an inch around the paper towel-ish. Okay, and what you want to do is just pour the castor oil onto the paper or the paper towel. Okay, now don't put a lot of castor oil on the paper, and the castor oil is very thick. It is very thick. It'll come out like it'll be sitting like a how water sits like on a window or something, like it'll bulge, like something like that. So it's very thick. So you want to be mindful of how much you're using, because if it leaks out, then it becomes a mess, and you don't want it on your clothes and stuff like that. So now, quick side note, the thicker the paper towel, the more castor oil you can use. So if I have really bad, like a lot of cysts or a lot of fibroids or whatever, I would probably use a thicker one of these. If it's not something that serious, then you don't have to use something that thick. But you put the castor oil onto this little part, and you let it kind of absorb, set it down and let it kind of absorb into that. And then you put it on here, and then you just bandage it. Okay, you bandage it and you keep it there. And you want to bandage it and keep it there for a while, like maybe like overnight, several hours, maybe 30 minutes might work for some people at a time. But you want to. I would recommend just leaving it there overnight. Just lay with it, overnight. If it causes too much discomfort, like you can't really sleep and it's like uncomfortable because you got to be in a position, then just do it for as long as possible. But you want to bandage it and keep it there, okay? And the castor oil will spread on this by itself because it'll absorb, but also your body heat will also help to thin it out, and it'll also expand out in or on the paper towel. So again, you want to be mindful of how much you're putting on initially, because you won't see that expansion right away. And you don't want this to leak out on your bed sheets and all this stuff, because you might not be able to get it out and you'll have to buy new bed sheets. And then it's like, away with these natural remedies, it makes a mess. But no, you just got to do it right. So also you can use it for sore joints. That's what I meant to say, joints, okay. You can use it for sore joints. So same process, put it on a sore joint, wrap it just like that, and leave it on for an hour or two or whatever, and it'll go in and it'll break up whatever is causing, if there's something there that needs to be broken up that's causing inflammation or pain, it'll break it up. Also congested chest. So obviously that's, like this, and maybe you can bandage it up, across underneath your armpits and stuff like that. So yeah. And also constipation. If you're constipated, this will help. Now, I'm not sharing these things in regard, or just so we could treat symptoms, because you have to ascertain the cause. Like if you're constipated, or if there's fibroids or cysts or bone spurs or whatever, even tumors and breast cancer, this helps with. I've known medical missionaries to have reversed these things in their patients using castor oil compresses, and also this other thing called DMSO. But that's all something else that I don't have here. So anyway, so you want to ascertain the cause. So whatever is causing these things, address and attack that so that you don't have to do this. But in the meantime, while you're waiting to figure things out, or if you're experiencing discomfort now and you're trying to really get some relief, these are great things. And not only does it attack the symptoms, but it's also contributing to the healing. I know a lot of medications and different things like that, they just really attack the symptoms. But again, the symptoms are actually our body's efforts to try to expel whatever is present, whatever intruder is present. So the symptoms are kind of our friends. We just have to aid or assist nature in the healing of our bodies, Now, of course, that is with balance too, because you don't want to just, for example, fever, you don't want to just be okay, I'm just going to burn it up, because if your fever gets too high, so you want to just regulate and be mindful and just what am I trying to say? Regulate, in that case, regulate your temperatures, but also just be mindful to aid and assist nature, not to suppress these things. And, a lot of over-the-counter drugs, they suppress the things. And, of course, it brings almost immediate relief, and I have loved it, and it does take a level of, how do I say, what do I say? Of patience to kind of deal with the symptoms and wait for nature to heal itself, but then again, that is a call for us to go to prayer and go to God and ask him, like, Lord, I am feeling a lot of discomfort. I'm trying your ways. I'm trying my best. Like, I need you to really help me speed up this work, So that's that. It also helps to, break up gallstones and even kidney stones as well. And of course, gallstones, like, you want to put it in the place where these, organs are. Like, you're not gonna, if it's a kidney stone that you're trying to break up, you're not going to put it on your abdomen, right? You're going to put it right on your back, like where your kidneys are, right? So you have to, kind of know where these organs are too. And you can just Google it if you don't know, just Google it. Like, where's my gallbladder? Where is my kidney? Where, and just put the compress on that area. And again, wrap it, and be careful not to use too much. Okay. Now the next thing is garlic. Garlic is, I just love garlic. I like the taste of garlic, and I love it in my food all the time. Fresh garlic is always the best. Now, garlic is actually really, really powerful. It's nature's antibiotic, okay? And there has been peer-reviewed studies, research. There's been, what are those? Like clinical trials, like, all of these different things to test garlic's potency and garlic's effectiveness. And research says that it's actually 6 times more powerful than, I forget the name of this antibiotic, tetracycline, thank you. It's 6 times more powerful than that antibiotic. And I actually fact-checked that. I was like, no way. And I fact-checked it, and it is true. Like, there's several research studies that prove that garlic is 6 times more powerful than tetracycline, which I just found, like, man, God is amazing. And garlic, I mean, who doesn't love garlic, right? You could just put it in your food, and it's an antibiotic in your food that tastes amazing, and doesn't have all those, like, negative side effects that come with, other, like, tetracycline, other antibiotics. Let's see here. So a dosage, or how you can use garlic, I'm sure. Probably don't need to say this, but I'm going to mention it. Is you want to use about, now if you're sick, I should say that. If you're sick, this is the dosage, okay? And even as a preventative measure, you want to use 3 cloves of garlic a day. 3 cloves of garlic a day. So let's say you eat 3 meals a day, take a whole garlic clove, and eat it right after your meal. That's one way, after each meal. Do that 3 times. Or what you can do is chop it up and grate it up in your food. 3 times a day, 3 cloves a day, okay? And you could take it by mouth, obviously whole, like I said, or you can grate it into food. And now I want to share a recipe with you guys. You could take a picture of it. It's a flu tonic recipe, okay? I don't know if, okay, yeah, so it's a flu tonic recipe, and garlic is in this recipe. Now, for garlic, you want it to be crushed, so all you have to do, I forgot the garlic, I forgot my garlic cloves today, but basically what you want to do, you want to, peel it, put it on, and then boom, you just smash it, just crush it up. And then you want to put this into a cup, okay? Now as you can see, the last ingredient is 1/3 cup of water, hot water. Not too hot to where it's like you can't drink it, but just very warm, okay? So you want to use garlic, crushed garlic. Now I'm telling you, this is potent, okay? It's not going to be fruit juice, okay? So, yeah, and you want to use this dosage also 3 times a day. Now, crushed garlic, you can put as much as you can handle, because I know my stomach doesn't necessarily handle raw garlic, like a lot of it, very well, even if I do eat food, to kind of like put a barrier between my stomach and garlic. Like I can still feel it in my stomach. So just use what you can handle. So that doesn't necessarily have like a specific thing. Same thing with the cayenne pepper, just use what you can handle. So yeah, you want to crush the garlic. And you want to use 1 teaspoon of ginger, and you want to grate it. And the reason why I didn't put an option for powdered ginger is because grated ginger is much, much better. Much, much better. But in the event that you don't have the grated or the fresh ginger, I would probably use about half a teaspoon, maybe a full teaspoon of grated ginger. You want to also use eucalyptus oil, just 1 drop in it, just 1 drop. And if you don't have eucalyptus, you can use tea tree oil. And cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper we'll be talking about hopefully. You know what? I have notes here, and if we are running out of time, you can take a picture of my notes. So yeah, cayenne pepper. You just sprinkle as much as you think you can handle. Usually 1/4 of a teaspoon should be tolerable, but if that's too much, maybe just do half of that, 1/8, or however much. But you want cayenne pepper in there, okay? You want cayenne pepper in there because it promotes blood circulation, and it will help to open you up if like you have congestion or like kind of just stuffy. 1/3 cup of lemon juice, and you want to use fresh lemons. Don't use the real lemons or the real, I don't know, I use this like lemon juice stuff that's in like a green bottle with a yellow cap. So don't use that is what I'm saying. Not that that's bad, because that is lemon juice. I'm sure they juiced real lemons for that. But you want to just buy lemons and then just juice those, okay? And you want to get about 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice, 2 teaspoons of honey. Now that honey, don't use more. I know it's going to be tempting because this is going to be really potent, and you're going to try to, you probably might be tempted to neutralize all the potency, but don't do it. So keep it at 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon, which is just 1 more teaspoon. But keep it at 2 teaspoons, I would recommend. And then 1/3 cup of hot water. Okay, now not too hot, you just want it, very, very warm. Another recipe that we've used is, we call it nature's flu shot, but it can also be called nature's penicillin as well. So this is a tonic that we use often, and it's a lot more palatable than the other one. So this one is we use it a lot more often. But yeah, so this, you just juice 6 lemons. You could take a picture of this slide. This is so potent. And I gave this to our son when he was sick, in addition to all these other things I was doing with the onions on the feet and the syrup and stuff like that. So that also probably contributed to him getting well, basically like a day after, because it has all of these powerful ingredients in it. And he wouldn't stop drinking it, but I know there's powerful ingredients in it, so I had to, tell him okay, that's enough. So, but he got better, and he was just fine, and he didn't have any, burning or anything like when he was passing stools and stuff like that. So there's, none of that to worry about. So yeah, 6 lemons, again fresh, juiced, 1 bulb of garlic, and no, that's not a typo. That is 1 whole bulb, not a clove, not the little clove. Where's the pictures of garlic? Here. So the cloves obviously are the little ones that are many in the bulb. So you want to use a whole bulb of garlic in this recipe. 1 bulb of garlic, 1 tablespoon of ginger grated, And if you don't have fresh ginger, you can use 2 tablespoons of ground, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1.5 cups of pineapple juice. I like to use the Dole brand. And you want to use 100% pineapple juice, not from concentrate. Okay, not from concentrate. So you want to use, if you want to be fancy and buy a pineapple and juice it yourself, that's even better, okay? But there's companies that have done that for you, so you could just buy it, and I would recommend the Dole brand because that's what we use. Now, if you want this to be more potent, use less pineapple juice, maybe about 1/2 cup less, okay? Now, I wouldn't put any more than this. It's like, okay, this is too potent, so keep putting, pineapple juice. I would cap it at 1.5 cups, and whatever potency is there, just let it be there, because those potent ingredients will work for the healing of your body. So if you're trying to neutralize that, it might mess around with how this is supposed to really work. Now, again, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper is what is recommended for this. This is what we do. And it is quite spicy. Now, when I gave it to my son, I left this out because I knew I was going to give it to my son. And what my husband and I did, we just shook some cayenne pepper in our individual cups, like as we did. And this can be used also as a preventative measure. All of these things could be used as a preventative measure. Obviously, castor oil, if you don't have anything to break up, it won't prevent anything from coming if so yeah. And 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder. You can also use turmeric root, like actual turmeric root, but I know that's really, sometimes it's hard to find. So yeah, that should be just fine. And then the last ingredient is just 1/2 of a red onion. So you take a red onion, you cut it in half, like pretend this is the root part. You want to cut it this way, like that, okay? Like 1/2 of a red onion, and then obviously don't put the roots in there or the skins. You want to just peel it off and just put it into your blender. So that's what you do with this. You put all of this into your blender, all of it. And I have tried the lemons, like instead of juicing, because I got lazy, to just peel the lemon peel off and just stick the lemon with the fiber stuff, into the drink, and you could do that too. I mean, I don't think it hurt. But juiced lemon makes it a little better because that makes it more thick, and you want to strain this because the red onion and stuff like that, sometimes we don't strain it and it's just like a thick smoothie, but if you do strain it, it's a little more palatable and easier to drink. Much easier to drink. So yeah, the dosage for this is 3 times a day. And now if you did put, and for this flu tonic stuff, this you would not give to a baby. I mentioned I gave this recipe to my son. This other recipe, do not give to a baby. Okay, don't give this one to a baby. So then what do you do then? So what you can do, and again, this is all under garlic. What you can do is you basically grab a piece of garlic, a garlic clove, okay, the little ones, and you slice it like long ways so that they're like kind of like thin and long little discs, and you can actually put that under the baby's foot. Okay, now when you do that, you want to put a layer between the garlic and the baby's foot, otherwise a blister will form. So what happens is the pores are the largest pores on our body are on the bottom of our feet, including our babies, and the garlic will help to open up those pores, and the body will take from the garlic what it needs, put it where it needs to go. But if it's left on there without a barrier between, now I'm not saying to like double, you could just put a little piece like this and then just keep that one layered side, or keep that one side with one layer, if that makes sense. So on the other side, you can fold it over again and 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 again. But that layer that is touching your baby's foot, you want to keep one layer, because otherwise too many layers, it won't do anything, and you're kind of just not doing anything really. So that's that. It is 4:50. I don't know if I should end, or maybe I can go over one more. Okay, so just to finish up with garlic, as you put that on the bottom of the baby's foot, sometimes you'll smell garlic on their breath, even though they didn't eat the garlic. And that's because the body, again, it takes it in. Same thing happens with the onion. Like it takes, well, I don't know if, I've never smelled like onion on my baby's breath, but the garlic, you'll smell it in the baby's breath, because it'll pull from the garlic what it needs, and it'll go. But that's just a testament to show and to communicate that this actually works, and the body is taking in from the garlic what it needs. Okay. So you can also use garlic for congested chest colds, congestion in general. Now, if you have persistent congestion, obviously I would ascertain the cause. A lot of times diet has to do with that. I know, like for example, for myself, I'm allergic to dairy, so I can't have dairy stuff. And I know dairy creates an inflamed condition in our bodies, because our organs are so delicate. I do know that, and congestion a lot of times is a result of a lot of dairy products, and even like eczema, acne, like all of these different things. Now, if you don't consume dairy and you're still experiencing those things, obviously I would try to figure that out. But I know that dairy is probably one of the number one contributors to those health issues. So that's that. And now I'm going to mention, let's see. So I have my notes here, and you are more than welcome to take a picture, but on my notes I have a potato. I also have water. You can use water for healing, like hydrotherapy type of stuff. And it's really simple. With that, I also have ginger by itself, making a poultice, and I wanted to show how to make a poultice. Cayenne pepper I was going to go through, and then charcoal, the last thing. And you can make poultices out of these. Now, so for the potato is a gentle drawer. So the onion draws, but it's really harsh and just it's a harsher drawer than a potato. Now, potato poultices are used for the more tender parts of our body. Whereas an onion or ginger or garlic or something like that, something a little more potent than a potato, would probably be used in other areas. But a potato you can use on areas where onion, ginger, and garlic are not used, okay? Where those things are a little too strong and potent. So if you have an inflammation in your eye, for example, obviously that's a tender part of your body. So if you make a potato poultice, and how you make a potato poultice, you just grate a potato and use that grated potato, and put it onto a napkin. Now you want to get this also. You want to make a little, square. This is not a perfect square, but you want to make a square. Make sure there's about an inch or so around your paper towel. And again, this is not a one-size-fit-all demonstration. I'm just using this, for the sake of this demonstration. But however big or little the site is how big, you want your plastic. Obviously, for my son, if a finger is swollen or something like that, or I'm not going to do this big thing. I'll cater it to his size. So this is not, one size fit all. So you want to grate the potato onto the napkin. Okay. And then you create one layer between the potato and your skin. Not that the potato is, like the garlic, for example, will blister a baby's foot, but just for, I don't know, so it's not so messy, really. That's really what it's for. What's it called? The paper towel will absorb the moisture from the potato, and it'll just, keep it there. Now, the potato is high in phosphorus and potassium, and what happens, and it's also alkaline, potatoes are, and what happens is the skin will absorb these things, and the alkaline properties, if that's how you say it, in the potato will also help to reduce the inflammation, and the phosphorus and the potassium, as the skin absorbs it, it also will aid in the decreasing of the inflammation. I don't know how, but it does, and it works. So that's that. And I demonstrated that already. And also the potato, the raw potato, it softens the skin, and it also allows the intruders, whatever's there, causing the inflammation, to slip through the skin. It'll bring it up, because again, the potato is a gentle drawer. So for example, a splinter, if you have a splinter in your hand or in your foot or somewhere, and it's too deep, but it's in there, and but it's not coming out, and your skin has already formed over it, but you touch something, a potato poultice will be perfect for that. And what happens is the potato will soften the skin to the point where that little splinter will find its way to the surface. It depends on how deep, how long it will take will depend on how deep the splinter is, obviously. But it'll find its way to the surface of your skin, and on the paper towel, after some time, you'll see the splinter on the paper towel. Okay? You'll see it. And so that is also a testament, this is working. A humble potato, getting rid of my splinter. Now, again, with natural remedies, you want to keep consistent. Okay? It's not like you do it one time and boom, you're going to see these results, right? These are results that are seen after being consistent and persistent. In our son, it was almost immediate. It was the next day. For us, it takes a little longer, probably because we're bigger and longer, But, you just keep persistent and be patient with nature as you assist her in her work, okay? I really want to go over hydrotherapy, so that'll be the last thing, just because water is so accessible, and we can use it for the healing of our bodies. So for hydrotherapy, sorry, that was the potato. So for hydrotherapy or water, you want to use hot water and cold water. So this is what's called a contrast water treatment. You can use it if you have a swollen finger or inflammation or something like that, or just a particular site that you want to get the inflammation down in. You can maybe get a cup or a bowl or something like that, and you want to do hot water this time, because you're not taking it in. This is going to be as hot as you can take it on the outside. Now, obviously, severe cases of diabetes, when there's a loss of feeling in the feet, you never want to do this on that person. In fact, there's a cayenne compress that you can, or rather cayenne poultice, that you can use to help the feeling back in certain areas that have lost feeling. But I don't have time to go through that today. But so you want to use hot and cold. So hot is as hot as you can take it, and you want to do that for 3 minutes. And then the cold water needs to be as cold as you can take it. As cold as you can take it, and that will be for 30 seconds. Okay, so it's threes, numbers of threes. Now, you can also do a contrast shower. If you're sick and you have a cold or flu or something like that, contrast showers are amazing. Now, me personally, I don't like cold water. I'm from Southern California, LA. It does not get lower than 50, Sometimes maybe 40, maybe in recent years, but when I was last there, it wasn't getting that cold. So moving from there and experiencing these crazy winters has been, growing experience. So I'm not a fan of cold water at all, but I will do it in the case of sickness, and I will just pray for strength. And I always get through it. I never die, obviously. I never hurt. So you want to do 3 minutes hot, as hot as you can take it in the shower. Obviously, you don't have 2 baths. If you do, that's fancy, and you can use, you could do baths, contrast baths, but contrast showers would be just fine. As hot as you can take it for 3 minutes, okay? And yes, you'll have to reach out of the shower, press the timer, dry your finger off, press it again if you're using your phone, but you want to do 3 minutes hot water, as hot as you can take it, and then immediately after that, 30 seconds cold. And you do that 3 times over. So it's about 10 minutes, 9 minutes of a process. But what happens is the hot water will bring new blood to the surface of your skin, and the cold will draw it away. And this back and forth promotes blood circulation. And what happens is, as the blood is circulating more than it would if you weren't doing this, it's working to heal itself. The Bible also talks about how there's the life of the flesh is in the blood or something like that. There is life-giving properties in our blood. And yes, maybe, we've abused our systems and maybe our blood is not that healthy, but it still has some stuff that will help if, it's being circulated. So continue to do it and keep on doing it. You could do it in the morning when you take your shower, do it at night before bed, taking your shower, and you keep doing that. And your symptoms of a cold, flu, whatever, is great for sinus congestion. Also, I've done that, and takes it right away. All right, so that is all. The last thing I'll mention about water, obviously with the cold, you want to just remember that hot water, how do I say this? Hot water will draw to the surface of the skin, and cold water will dispel, it'll drive it back or away from whatever site is, it'll just drive it away. For example, what I'm saying is, or even constrict, if you have headaches or migraines or something like that, if you put a cold ice pack on your head, it'll draw the blood away from your head, and that's what brings relief. Because the blood is being drawn away. And if you take the ice pack off, sometimes the headache comes back because the blood is being drawn back to the area. But you just work with it. And if you know the principles and if you understand the principles, you kind of know when to use these things and where to use these things and how and different things like that. So that is all. I have taken much time. I do have these notes that I have not gone over, and you're more than welcome to take pictures if you are interested. That's all. So I will pray us out. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. Hopefully I have the answer. I'm not a guru. I just learned these things. I never went to school for these things. I never, got taught by anybody. I just read, did my research, practiced it. It worked, and just teach others to do the same, because it works for me and it saves money, and obviously it's backed by the spirit of prophecy in the Bible, so that's always a plus. So let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this opportunity today to share with your people the things that you have taught to me and convicted my heart on and have given me experience in. And I just pray and ask that we would use this wisdom and knowledge to cooperate with you in lessening the suffering in our own lives and also in the lives of those around us. Thank you so much for this wisdom that you have given, and the properties that you put into simple foods. In Jesus' name, amen. All right.